Okay. So, I'll start with the toys. I have Floofy and Shoving Claws in that cardboard. Do you have Foofies? Foof. Come here. Foofies. Here. I'll put you on the table. You never get to go on. How's that? I don't have much to talk about in this video. But you can't go up there. So last week I went to bargain hunt. I call it a salvage store. It's what I grew up kind of thing called a salvage store, but apparently salvage stores now are just, they sell close dated groceries and things like that. To me, a salvage store is like the first store I went to that was called a salvage store, as some other store had caught on fire, so this store bought all the merchandise that was still in good shape. It just smelled like smoke and sold it. So these bargain hunt stores in the South are, I call them salvage store, but they call themselves closeout stores. I don't know if they're exactly closeout stores. They have some closeout stuff, like hi Chip, have a lot of things that are like still have like 3 layers of Target clearance tags on them. And there's a lot of Amazon returns. So I walked in, and I hadn't found the dolls, any decent dolls, for a while, but I walked into one of them last week sometime and found a made-to-move tan yoga pants doll, floral yoga pants doll for $9.50. And yeah, I didn't need it. I mean, I still have this body that James sent in reserve, but I went ahead and got it. And then that day I got home and I started moving everything off of the shelves for preparation for the telco person coming to put the fiber drop in. Anyway, so that was in a box for a few days and it went down. And then when I started pulling everything out, I mean, I just put it in with all the other dolls that I'd had. And when I started getting it out of the box, it was with that Beach Blast Teresa that I had thrifted Thursday before last with my giant pile of dolls. And so Teresa's head ended up on the made-to-move body. The skin tone match is not great because these 80s dolls are real orange compared to modern dolls. But I still like this head on this body. And I even like her hair. You know, I'm always grumpy about brown hair. Even though she has this weird, not parted, different color brown at the hairline. I don't think I'm going to root her. I think I'm going to leave her as she is. So that's like the only doll thing I've done. Floof? Since last week. I was in Walmart this morning and I did find a bottle of the, what's it called? Clear hologram glitterific paint. So, you know, when I painted her, so my intention was to put it on the black painted body because I thought the bottle of paint that I used had a black base in it. Then I opened up and looked at it and I just realized it had black chunks of glitter. So this one, everything is clear and holographic, and there's so much cat hair on everything now. So if I do, I have plans for a body that's base painted green right now. This doll, actually. I have plans for how I've had this painted. This is like base painted green, and then I put the pearl top coat on it like I did in all the dinosaurs. So I've had this sitting around for several months, and I finally know what I want to do with it, and it will involve this on top, but I don't know when I'm going to do it. Because, as you know, as I was warned, most of my time since last week's video was dealing with getting this stuff cleared off for the telco person to come in and have access to that wall. And he did need access to the wall. He just needed access to that wall. So that just has my computer desk, and this had been over there. And so we were able to move that away, and he got the drop put in. And one thing about where the fiber optic jack is now is, in the past, the router had been over there, sort of in a corner, and we'd figured out that the file cabinet that used to be right here was interfering. You know, this big metal file cabinet was interfering with the Wi-Fi signal. Well, now because the jack is moved over there, the router is on top. We were able to put the file cabinet back over there and put the router on top. And I actually just prefer the file cabinet over there because over here, I don't know, it just felt like I was looking at a wall when I was sewing. I mean, I have not sewn anything yet in this new setup, so I might find that looking at all this clutter here, I think all you can see is Tiffany Taylor here. Maybe you can see Valeska. But behind them is the suitcase where I have the stacks and stacks of cloth that mostly came from Susan, a lot of it, and thrift stores that I want to use for doll clothes. And my ultimate goal is to get that suitcase, at least get the cloth sewn down, use it enough that I can either put it in, there's a big drawer at the bottom of this thing that it's sitting on, or I can get it worked into the dresser that has all of my original doll sewing cloth in. And I'm feeling really disjointed today, I'm sorry, because I guess this is going to be a quick room tour video because that's all I have to talk about. Okay, hold on. Okay, and this is going to be a true room tour. I did not clean it up or make it pretty before I started, so it's not as messy as it can be, but you'll see the clutter that I kind of leave around all the time. Like, the first thing is this pile of cardboard on the floor that the cats, you can see. Floof loves sharpening her claws on this cardboard, and Chip just loves laying on cardboard in general. Like, I have this pile of boxes here. That's Chip's cave. He's not in there at the moment, but he's usually in there. So this is just where I've been throwing the scraps from when I'm cutting things, because I do most of my work on this big piece of cardboard on the ironing board. And right now this is stuff that I'm getting prepped to put on eBay. But this is, you know, a lot of times I'll do doll work here. This is where I do my box opening videos. When I'm sewing big stuff, I lay it on here and cut it out so I don't have to either take over the table or crawl around on the floor. This dresser behind it is in theory where I keep my doll, all my doll cloth, but like I said, right now there is doll cloth all over the place. And the top of the dresser, you might recognize that background from a lot of my photos. It's just right now it hasn't recovered from the move, the rearrangement and putting back, whatever you want to call it, of the room. So we have this closet here, and in here is where I keep my ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as it used to be, stash of big pieces of sewing cloth. And it is on both sides. And on the top. And over there. I guess since Chip's not in there, I can do that. Bits of patchwork I've put together that aren't proper blankets yet. And that's my scrap tub, which I go through every once in a while and make whole patchwork blankets out of it. Or patchwork clothes. And then just random stuff. There's cloth in that. That's my shipping supplies. Backgrounds for doll photos. More backgrounds for doll photos. The window that lets in the lovely light for my sewing area. And this big trunk down here is where I keep bags of doll clothes and like the doll accessories are in here, and then you get shoes once you go down farther, more layers, and Down in here is my doll rerouting hair, and below that's where I keep the pipe cleaners that I use to curl doll hair. And we have a box of heads. And under that is a box of like hands and feet and odds and ends. It's controlled chaos. So that's the cloth I was talking about. The combination of mostly Susan cloth and thrift store grab bag cloth that I designed to keep. I did do a big purge of thrift store grab bag cloth that I realized I was never going to use. I offered it to local doll people and I sent it back to the thrift store. And so we have a few dolls. These dolls used to be on top of the file cabinet. That is now by the door. And like I said, I didn't like the file cabinet being this big just wall while I was sitting at the sewing machine, and also it covered a lot of my pictures here, especially with the dolls on top of it. So that's just a little thing that I like, being able to see all that again. And I even have a picture ready and to hang once the suitcase is gone, back behind that stuff. So, and then the giant bookcase that we are so glad we did not have to take the bookcase itself out. And I got stuff pretty much put back where it had been. And it's just, yeah, it's a bookcase with doll stuff in it. The suitcases are where I keep my BJD clothes. And it's just amusing right now because my video camera is picking up that jack-o'-lantern in the corner down there and saying, "Yep, that's a face. I'm seeing a face here." And there's always piles of stuff on the floor that I mean to get through. Like that box is stuff I'm going to be sending off to somebody. This isn't the most detailed tour of my room. This mirror is here because when I'm thinking about sewing stuff, I like to hold it in front of myself and see how it looks, and I was getting tired of running all the way to the other end of the house where the mirror is in my bedroom. So we got this. And then my computer. Yay. And then the filing cabinet I talk so much about. It has my sewing patterns in it, as well as some other things. And I don't think it's dark enough to get the effect, but the ONT for the fiber has all these amber lights on it. And this pumpkin, this jack-o'-lantern used to be with the stuff up there. But I discovered if I put it in front of the amber lights, then wait, I just tried to dust some cat hair off of my camera and it's doing something. Let's cancel it. Anyway, I put it here and the amber lights light up inside and they flicker as there's computer activity, so it's like I have a nice jack-o'-lantern all year, right? Right. So anyway, that's my room. And I like mirrors. I guess now I can show you the video that I made of how everything from here looked when it was in boxes in the other room. Okay, well, here is all the stuff that was on the bookcase. Actually, not all of it. There's books in the kiddos' room. This is all the doll stuff and some other hobby stuff, but mostly doll stuff. Not all of it, of course, that you could see during the videos behind me, but a lot of it might look familiar. Although here, these are the dolls who live on the file cabinet, because I didn't want them to fall on some tech's head. And also that means at this point there are no dolls at all in my room. Well, that's not true. There's one doll, fit model doll, who's stuffed in a like decorative lunchbox where I put the projects that I was working on to get them out of the way. But as far as display goes, there are no dolls in my room. And this isn't all the stuff that's in here. We also have the globes and Big A on that are normally on my bookcase top. And yes, laundry I need to put away. Some boxes of stuff back here. And this is stuff that was on my sewing desk and computer desk. Yes, I don't know if we're going to have to move those, but they're moved if they need to be. And then I have co-opted the child's bedroom for my boxes of books and binders and papers and things. And there's a boofies in a bathroom. And the box of cat toys that Chip lays in. And so here's how the bookcase looks right now. So, like I've been saying in comments, hopefully, this room also sounds very different without all the stuff on the shelf. Anyway, hopefully I will have not needed to have done this at all, and I can just then put everything back where it's supposed to be, which is still better than not doing it and having to take everything down there while the tech guy is waiting for us, because this is a two-day job. So if you wanted to see how my bare room looked, there it is. And again, maybe I'll do a room tour once it's back together, because I really doubt I'm going to have anything done by next Wednesday's video. It's Friday. No, it's Thursday. I don't even know what day of the week it is, because this is so weird. Right, Floopies? And I put the tripod away for the tour, so I'm not going to be sitting at my desk again, but I will say thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have something more interesting next week.